What if everything you've been taught about success is wrong? What if the people who seem to have it all figured out are actually missing the most important part? See, we're told to hustle harder, think positive, follow the blueprint. But here's the thing no one's saying out loud: success isn't about doing more. It's about understanding what almost everyone else is ignoring. You ever wonder why some people break through while others, just as talented, stay stuck for years? It's not luck. It's not timing. And it's definitely not what they post on social media. There's a deeper truth about success, one most people never hear. But once you see it, you can unsee it, and it changes the way you move, think, and grow forever. Let me show you. You think you want success, but what you really want is safety, comfort, approval. You want applause without the sweat, growth without the grind. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. If you're not willing to be embarrassed by who you were 6 months ago, you're not growing. If you're not questioning your own mindset, you're not evolving. I used to think that being successful was about being liked. But here's the truth about success nobody tells you. Success is quiet. It's lonely. It's often invisible until it explodes. And by the time people notice you, they only see the highlights. They don't see you standing in front of a mirror at 2 a.m., asking yourself if you're crazy for still believing. They don't see the failed auditions, the broken confidence, the no after no after no. You want to know the real secret? Success is less about skill and more about mindset. It's about how you think when no one is clapping. It's about what you keep doing when nothing seems to be working. And that's why I'm talking to you right now, because I know deep down you felt that pain, that fire, that silent scream of there has to be more than this. There is, but first you gotta unlearn what they taught you. They told you success was a straight line, that if you did what you were told, you'd end up somewhere beautiful. But that's not how it works. Success is a fight. It's personal growth through pain. If you're not willing to get uncomfortable, you'll never touch your potential. Now let me ask you something. What's the one belief you have about success that might actually be holding you back? Yeah, let that one sit with you, because we're going deep in this video. And once you hear what I'm about to share, you'll never see your journey the same way again. So stay with me, because what you're about to discover could unlock something in you that's been buried for years. Let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. Success will not apologize for being difficult. It doesn't care how bad you want it. It doesn't care about your excuses. And it definitely doesn't care about your timeline. See, I used to think success was a finish line. A moment, a day where everything clicks and suddenly you're there. But that's a lot. Success is a lifestyle, a decision you make daily even when you're tired, even when nobody's watching. I remember when I first started in this industry, Hollywood didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for me. There were rooms I wasn't invited into, scripts I didn't get, projects that bombed, and every single time I got now they decide, do I stay down and protect my ego, or do I get back up and protect my purpose? The truth about success nobody tells you is this: you will be doubted the most when you're closest to something great. People will project their fears onto you. They'll say you're doing too much, that you're changing, that you're unrealistic. But what they're really saying is you're becoming someone I'm afraid to become. Now listen, if you want real success, if you want true personal growth, you have to get comfortable disappointing people who don't understand your mission. You cannot please the world and pursue greatness at the same time. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about ego. This is about mindset. If you don't believe you're worthy of success before it shows up, you'll reject it when it finally does. You'll sabotage it. You'll shrink. You'll settle. That's why I say success begins here in your head. in your beliefs, in the way you talk to yourself when everything's falling apart. You can read all the books, you can watch all the videos, but until you decide that success is non-negotiable for you, nothing changes. And I'm not talking about being obsessed with the outcome. I'm talking about being obsessed with the process, with who you're becoming along the way. That's where the truth lives. Look, there's going to come a day where you look in the mirror and you won't recognize who you used to be, because growth will strip you, success will stretch you, and mindset will mold you. The world will offer you shortcuts, fast wins, temporary applause, but none of that is real, because real success is built on personal growth, day after day, quietly, relentlessly. It's in the way you bounce back from failure, the way you protect your peace, the way you refuse to settle even when settling would be easier. So ask yourself, are you preparing for success or just wishing for it? Are you training your mindset or just scrolling for inspiration? Because the difference between who you are and who you could be is the truth you're willing to face. And here's one more truth: you will not become successful by accident. You will become successful by design, by daily, deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable design. So stick with me, because in just a moment, we're going to dig into the real reasons most people never reach that next level. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're not smart enough. It's because they never learned how to think like someone who succeeds. And that shift right there, that's what changes everything. You know, it's wild. Most people don't fail because they're not good enough. They fail because they never believed they were good enough to begin with. And that's the trap. That's the invisible wall that keeps people stuck in average. Not because they lack talent, but because they've been conditioned to doubt themselves every time they get close to a breakthrough. Let me ask you something. How many times have you almost gone all in, but then your mind whispered, what if it doesn't work? That voice, that hesitation, that's the virus. That's the real reason people stay stuck. They've tied their identity to their past, to what didn't work, to who let them down, to that one failure they haven't forgiven themselves for. Let me be real with you. Your past doesn't get to decide your ceiling. Your pain doesn't get to write your future. I've met people who had everything stacked against them: broken homes, no money, no education, but they succeeded because they refused to let their story end there. One guy I knew, he used to sleep on a friend's couch. No backup plan, no connections, but every day he treated his dream like it already belonged to him. He walked like it, talked like it, moved like it. People laughed at him, called him crazy, but they weren't laughing when he built a multi-million-dollar company from nothing. What changed? He stopped asking for permission to succeed. And that's what I'm trying to get you to see. You don't need to be discovered, you need to decide. Nobody's coming to tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, you're ready now. That moment doesn't exist. Success doesn't come when you feel confident. It comes when you move anyway, even with the doubt in your chest and the fear in your throat. And that's the truth nobody tells you. You can wait for perfect conditions your whole life, but nothing changes until you do. Mindset is everything. And I don't mean that in a motivational poster kind of way. I mean how you see yourself when you fail will determine how fast you rise. If you fall and say, see, I knew I wasn't good enough, you stay there. But if you fall and say, all right, that was a T, still get better, you grow. You evolve. You build the kind of internal power that no one can take from you. You think people are born great? Nah, they build greatness brick by brick. Through doubt, through trial, through thousands of boring days nobody claps for. You've heard of people who seem like overnight successes, right? Let me tell you, those are the longest nights of all. I remember meeting a young woman who had spent 10 years failing. Different careers, different cities. And just when the world had written her off, she found a groove. She found a purpose, and she built something powerful. And now people only see the success, the followers, the praise, but they didn't see the decade of no's, of heartbreak, of questioning everything. And that's why I'm telling you right now, don't confuse slow progress with failure. Some things take longer because you're being shaped to hold what you asked for. You want a truth about success? Here it is. It will test your patience. It will stretch your limits. It will ask you to become someone stronger and the version of you that started. If you're willing to lean, and if you're willing to get honest with yourself about what's really holding you back, you can become unstoppable. But you have to be brutally honest. You have to ask yourself, am I committed or just interested? Do I want growth or just comfort with a fancy name? Am I actually building or just fantasizing? Because success won't wait for you to be ready. And truth, it doesn't need your feelings. It just needs your decision. So, make it. And when you do, don't just say it out loud, show it in how you move. Show it in how you wait, in how you bounce back, and how you keep showing up even when it's not sexy. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And most people will never cross that line. Well, you just might. If you're bold enough, if you're consistent enough, if you're hungry enough, keep listening. Because what I'm about to break down next is what makes people either level up or disappear forever. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me when I was just getting started. Success doesn't change you. It reveals you. It pulls the layers off. It exposes who you really are when nobody's telling you what to do anymore. And that's the scary part, because most people aren't prepared for what happens when they finally get what they asked for. See, we've been taught to chase goals like trophies, finish line after finish line, promotion, applause, recognition, more. But the truth is, if you haven't done the inner work, all that success will do is amplify your insecurity. You want personal growth? You want real, sustainable success? Then you better be ready to build your foundation first. Because let me tell you from experience, it's one thing to reach success. It's another thing to hold it without losing yourself in the process. I've seen people reach the top of their game and crumble under pressure because deep down, they never believed they belonged there. They never rewired their mindset. They never healed what was broken. They just chased the spotlight, hoping it would fix the darkness. But spotlight don't heal you. It exposes the cracks. You want to win long term, you better develop the discipline to sit with your truth, to face the ugly parts, to build a mindset that doesn't need applause to feel worthy. And here's the thing, most people run from this part. They'll say, I just want to stay positive. I don't have time to deal with all that inner stuff. But your success will never outgrow your mindset. And your identity hasn't caught up with your goals, you will self-destruct. Now listen closely, success is responsibility. It means your habits matter, your energy matters. Your decisions matter more than ever before. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You can't afford to walk through life distracted. You can't afford to let your emotions run the show. You want to win? Start choosing your reactions on purpose. Start feeding your focus instead of your fears. Because let me tell you, there's a moment after the struggle, after the self-doubt, after the long nights and longer months where something clicks. And it's not external. It's not a new car, not a new job, not a viral moment. It's you looking in the mirror and realizing you've outgrown who you used to be. That's success. That's personal growth. And the version of you from last year wouldn't even recognize who you are today. Now, I know this ain't easy. You're tired. You're overthinking everything. You're probably watching this right now wondering, am I even on the right path? Let me tell you, if it's uncomfortable, if it's stretching you, if it's requiring you to let go of who you used to be, you're exactly where you need to be. Because growth feels like loss in the beginning, but it's not loss. It's space being made for something greater. Look around. The people you admire didn't get there by chance. They built a mindset that wouldn't let them quit. And every one of them hit that moment where they had to decide, will I keep evolving or go back to what's easy? I've stood in that moment, and I chose the uncomfortable truth over the comfortable lie. That's when I stopped surviving and started living. That's when success stopped being this far-off fantasy and became my standard. You got to get to a point where it's not just about wishing anymore. It's about becoming, and becoming takes sacrifice. You'll lose friends. You'll disappoint people. You'll get misunderstood. But you'll gain something more powerful than approval alignment. Now let me remind you of something. Success without alignment is stress. Success without clarity is confusion. But success built from truth and mindset, that's unshakable. That's legacy. You don't get there by copying other people's paths. You get there by knowing yourself so well that no storm can knock you off course. So let me ask you, what's one thing you've been running from in yourself? What's the truth you've been avoiding because it might make you uncomfortable? That's the exact thing that's blocking the next level. You don't need more tips. You don't need another motivational quote. You need alignment. You need ownership. You need to stop outsourcing your power and start showing up like your life depends on it, because it does. And the best part, you're closer than you think. You've already made it through the part that would have broken the old you. You've already survived days you thought would take you out. So don't turn back now. You've earned this moment. Now it's time to step into it. Stay with me, because next, we're going into the most powerful shift of all. This is where it all comes together. And if you really lock into what I'm about to share, you'll never go back to playing small again. Let me hit you with the realest thing I've learned on this entire journey. Success doesn't come when you finally arrive. It comes the moment you refuse to go back. And that moment, that shift, it's a decision that happens deep inside. Not in front of a crowd, and not on stage, but when it's just you in the silence. That silence is where your future gets written. Because here's the truth about success nobody tells you. You will never feel ready. You will never know for sure. You will never have a perfect sign that tells you, this is it. You have to move anyway. You have to build anyway. You have to believe anyway. That's what separates the average from the aligned. The wishers from the warriors. The ones who talk from the ones who become. Listen, mindset isn't about hype. It's about handling pressure when there's no plan B. It's about betting on yourself when you feel broke, tired, and misunderstood. It's standing in a room full of people who don't see your value and still acting like you belong. Because that's what personal growth really is. It's not reading a book, it's becoming a book. It's living the lessons when it's hard. It's choosing to evolve when it would be easier to stay bitter. Look, if you want to be successful, you got to kill the version of you that needs permission. Nobody's coming. Nobody's handing you the green light. You are the green light. And once you get that, once you really get that, everything changes. You stop chasing people who don't get it. You stop explaining your vision to folks who stopped dreaming a long time ago. You stop negotiating with fear. You just build. You grow. You become. I've watched people reinvent their lives with nothing but a clear decision. No connections, no guarantees. Just hunger. And you can feel when someone's hungry. It's in the way they speak, the way they walk, the way they protect their energy. You ever seen someone on a mission? They're not distracted. They're not explaining. They're not apologizing. They've got tunnel vision. Because when your mindset is aligned, you don't waste time convincing people. You're too busy becoming undeniable. That's what I want for you. Not just to succeed, but to become someone so grounded, so clear, so unshakable that success becomes the byproduct. Let me be real with you, you're gonna have to sacrifice comfort, approval, old identities. But what you gain, freedom, alignment, peace, and success, not the flashy, performative kind, but the kind that feels like home. You're not here just to survive. You're here to create, to become, to wake up every day and know that your life is a reflection of your truth. And if that's not where you are yet, good. That means you've still got room to rise, room to evolve, room to choose. Because that's the secret no one wants to admit. Success is a choice. Every single day, it's a choice to show up when you're scared. A choice to speak life when your mind is heavy. A choice to move even when the path is foggy. And you got that choice right now. Not tomorrow. Not when everything's lined up. Right now. So ask yourself, are you building a future that honors who you really are? Are you decorating a prison that looks good from the outside? That's the line most people never cross. They settle for looking successful instead of becoming successful. But you're still listening, which means there's something in you that refuses to settle, something in you that's ready. And if you've made it this far, and I need to tell you something important, don't stop here. Don't let this be just another motivational moment. Let this be the line in the sand. You have the power. You have the fire. And if you ever forget that, come back to this. Come back to yourself. And when you're ready to keep rising, watch the next video. It's called, What's Stopping People from Reaching Their Goal? And I'm telling you, it's going to open your eyes in ways this world never taught you to see. Let's keep growing together. But you're not alone in this. You're not behind, but you're not broken. They're becoming. And that right there, that's the real truth about success nobody tells you. We are wisdom recorder, your knowledge source. If this spoke to you, if even one line hit your soul, subscribe, and keep coming back. Because we're just getting started.